speaking skills can positively impact both personal and professional development, but it can be challenging for some to overcome that fear of speaking in front of large groups of people. Meghan Rothschild is not only a seasoned speaker, but also an advocate for harnessing the benefits of effective communication. She joins us to share her insights on how public speaking can be empowering and beneficial in both personal and professional spheres. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So when people hear public speaking or
Panic.
just talking, they panic. They're like, no, not for me.
Yep.
However, it's an important skill to have.
It's not only an important skill to have, I think it is an incredibly unique skill to have that sets you apart from your peers.
Sure.
Particularly if you are applying for jobs and obviously it depends on the field. Some people are never going to need public speaking and others do. But if you're applying for jobs and you have that ability to articulate and be in front of a group comfortably, it could just set you apart from someone else who's up for the same job.
So when it comes to public speaking, I'm assuming there's a lot of preparing in advance for it.
Yeah, I think that's the key. You know, when people get nervous, I always say to them, do you know the topic, right? Because I do a lot of coaching for this, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I know it inside and out. And I'm like, okay, that's all you need. But you really do need to prepare what it is you're going to talk about. And this is something that even seasoned public speakers struggle with because, like for me, I'm on stage a lot, I'm in front of groups a lot, and so if I have to talk about a topic that might be a little out of my comfort zone, the preparation for it is exhausting because I'm like, I should just be able to get up there and do my thing. But it's going to make you exponentially more confident when you get on stage.
So should you memorize what you're saying?
No.
Is that no?
No. So, there's different types of speeches, right? Like if you're giving like a graduation address, you might want to have something scripted that you're reading from. I just married my niece recently. I scripted that and read from a script because you don't want to deviate. But if you're talking to a group of professionals, you're doing some expert positioning, you're up there as an expert, you really do want to have flow and fluidity, and you also want to be able to read the audience. And I think a lot of times when people memorize something, they might put a joke in there, but it might not go over well with the audience, or they might think that the audience is going to give a different energy and feedback, and you need to be able to adjust to that. So I think memorization is not in your best interest, but definitely having something planned out in front of you.
So when you're planning that out, is there a certain way about the speech that you should kind of write it to make it flow?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of breaking out speeches into topics, right? So I think that's great for your audience because it's easily digestible. So if you're giving, again, a professional lecture, you're trying to educate people about something that you're an expert in, breaking it out into easily digestible topics is not only good for you and your ability to be able to remember what it is you're talking about, but also for your audience's ability to be able to really take that information in and learn from it. When you're all over the place, it can seem kind of scattered and disorganized, but if you are able to break it out, I think it's just a lot easier for people to take in.
And if people are just sitting there listening to something, they may, if you're also all over the place, they're not following easily. You know, when you're listening to someone, it's not necessarily the easiest to follow versus if you're reading something.
Yes.
So I feel like that's a great point. If it's broken into different sections, then it's like, all right, one topic, the next.
Yeah, and it also helps guide your visuals too for that presentation. So it's just a better way and again, it's so easy for people to kind of feel scattered and anxious once you get up there in front of a group. So if you know you have certain key points that you need to hit and you feel like you're blubbering on about one, you can immediately redirect back to that second piece.
So a big thing is feeling confident when you're up there. I can only imagine, what should you wear? And sometimes that is a big thing that could make or break how you feel.
It is, and I've been speaking publicly for 20 years, and I'll never forget one time being like, I'm going to try this fashion forward outfit, and it was like my biggest regret because I was uncomfortable up on stage. So men and women should find something they feel really confident in and that fits appropriately. If something's hurting on your body, like your feet, don't put on the set of heels, right? Like you want to make sure that you feel as comfortable as possible because you don't want to be distracted by something, and you definitely don't want to be kind of like pulling at your outfit or fixing your hair because it's going to distract away from the words that you're using.
Right, and you want people to listen to you. That's why you're public speaking.
Yes,
that's what you're doing. So I mean, who wouldn't want to dress comfortably anyway?
Right, I know. If we could be in sweatpants, I mean, that's why Zooms are so great. You can, business on top, party on the bottom.
I wish, honestly. But these are really great things for people to keep in mind. Even if they may be thinking, oh, I'm never going to need it. No, there probably is an opportunity where you're going to need this.
And if this is something that you are uncomfortable with, I think Don't wait until you are in the hot seat
Yeah.
to decide you're going to learn about how to do it. Start getting yourself prepared now, because you do never know. Even if you're at an event and someone says stand up and introduce yourself, that can cause people to panic.
Right.
So the more comfortable we can get in front of a crowd early on, the better you're going to be in the long run.
Always great having you here, Meghan.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Of course.